Do you ever feel like that you're lazy? Like you know what you should be doing, but for some reason you just can't will yourself to do it? What you've been calling laziness is actually a warning sign and a symptom of something deeper that's quietly keeping you stuck from your dreams and in the life that you desire. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you what I've learned after years of studying psychology, my own personal experiences, and even from Dragon Ball Z to help you uncover the real source of your laziness and share the exact system that helped me finally take consistent action and start making real progress towards achieving my goals so you can too. To start, I'm gonna show you what your laziness is actually signaling and what's really going on underneath the surface. Do you ever get really excited about your goals and dreams, but when you think about it too much, then you get stressed out? This is exactly what would happen to me a lot. For me, I've always wanted to build a platform on YouTube that helps people break through the mental barriers that make them feel stuck in life. And for years, that idea lit me up. But whenever I would sit down and actually work on it, I'd get stressed out and I would almost lose all motivation to do it. And for the longest time, I just couldn't understand why. I would watch other YouTubers or scroll through TikToks of people talking about their dreams and goals and how they worked really hard to achieve them. And when I watch those videos, I start thinking to myself, man, these people are out here doing amazing things, but I'm too lazy to even start. That's when my mind would start to spiral, racing through everything I wanted to do and everything I thought I should be doing. But this time, I paid close attention to how I felt. Every time I thought about my goals, my mood dropped, my energy shifted, and I felt completely unmotivated. And then that's when it hit me. What I've been calling laziness is actually something much, much deeper. So naturally as humans, we want to do our best whenever we're trying to accomplish something. But your ambition also has the potential to create stress because when you really want something and you don't want to mess it up, it has a lot of pressure that begins to build. And that pressure can turn into the fear of failure. And when people are scared, their minds start to race. And you begin thinking about all the things that you need to do and all the things that you should be doing when it comes to your goals. And since your mind is now flooded, you start to feel overwhelmed and begin to doubt your own abilities. That overwhelm is a true source of your perceived laziness because when we're overwhelmed, we avoid tasks altogether. But why does this happen to us? The whole chain reaction that happens to us due to our ambition and fear is a result of the fight or flight response in the brain. To put it simply, the fight or flight response is the brain's way of reacting to perceived danger or intense pressure. Some people respond by fighting or facing the challenge head on, but others freeze and avoid the task and all the thoughts tied to it altogether, which is what most of us think of as lazy. Think of it like this. When Gohan had to face the Saiyans, he immediately recognized the massive gap between their power and his own. And when it came time to actually engage with him, his fight or flight response would kick in and he'd freeze or run away completely. And that's exactly what happens to us when we try to face our goals. We see everything it takes and we get caught in a spiral of our thoughts and eventually become so overwhelmed by it that we avoid the task altogether. But most of the time, we don't even realize that this is happening. So with the truth of your laziness now exposed, I want to show you the system that I use to deal with being overwhelmed, starting with a method that'll help you easily take back control whenever you feel overwhelmed. The Super Saiyan transformation is triggered by intense rage and emotion. And while it gives the user a massive boost in power, it also floods the body with overwhelming energy. And unless the form is properly trained, it leaves the person in a constant state of heightened emotion, making it difficult to think clearly or stay focused. When Goku first transformed, he didn't fully understand this and became a completely different person in that state. And it wasn't until he trained in the hyperbolic time chamber during the Cell Saga that he began to understand how the transformation affected both his mind and his body. The Super Saiyan transformation actually reveals a key insight into how to deal with overwhelm in real life. It shows us what kind of state our body enters when we're overwhelmed and what can happen if we don't address the emotional pressure behind it. If we don't understand how overwhelm shows up and how it works, we're naturally gonna mislabel it as laziness or a lack of motivation when our body is really trying to send us a message. So next, I'll show you the first step you need to do in order to understand what your body and mind is trying to tell you so that you can take back control when you're feeling overwhelmed. So here's the first step. Start by identifying how your body feels when you engage with your goals. When you even think about taking action or attempt to work on something, pay attention to a few of these things. Does your body feel tense? Are your thoughts bouncing all over the place? Is your heartbeat picking up? Or do you feel an intense pressure placed upon you? Every reaction to your goal is your nervous system reacting to said pressure. When you pay close attention to how you physically and mentally respond, it'll help you be able to identify it and intentionally take back control when these thoughts or emotions pop up. Now that you understand how to recognize when overwhelm is showing up in your life, next I'll show you the exact method I use whenever I feel overwhelmed. And it's the same one that helped me stop freezing, clear my head, and finally start making real progress towards my goals. In Dragon Ball Super, Goku is able to activate a technique known as Ultra Instincts. And one of the caveats for achieving and maintaining Ultra Instinct is that the mind and body must be completely relaxed in a unified state. If you're scattered or tense, it becomes harder to stay in control. This same kind of state that you need to reach before you can start working towards your dreams or your goals. You have to find a way to genuinely relax and allow your mind and body to process everything, because if you don't, trying to stay calm and push past overwhelm is simply going to feel impossible. That's why it's so important for you to learn how to actually relax your nervous system. But how do you do that? Well, let me show you so you can actually start creating the life that you desire without constantly shutting down. To relax your nervous system, there are many ways to do this. But the key thing here is that you have to relax your body and calm your mind, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed. However, one of the biggest mistakes that we make is thinking that we're relaxing when we're really not. We often fill our minds with too much information by consuming media non-stop, and then we still expect ourselves to be able to think clearly when it's time to do so. That's nearly impossible when your mind and subconscious mind is being constantly hit with stimulation. So you need to learn to completely step away from the noise entirely. One thing that helps me is by going outside with no phones, no distractions, and to sit there with my thoughts and emotions. The next thing you can do is pair this up with a breathing exercise when you're away from all the stimulation. And one of the best breathing exercises that helped me personally is the box breathing method. You breathe in for 3 seconds, you hold for 3 seconds, and then you release for 3 seconds. It calms your mind and your body. The key thing here is that you actually need to clear your mind and not just distract it. You have to give your subconscious mind time to process everything so that when you come back to your goal, you can approach the task with a calm and focused mindset. That way you're not hit with a flood of thoughts and emotions that push you to avoidance and eventually back into the trap of self-doubt. So now that you calm your mind and your body, the next thing I'm gonna show you is the best way to approach your goals in a way that significantly lowers the chances of you getting overwhelmed again. Early on in Dragon Ball Z, Goku learned a technique known as the Kaioken. The Kaioken multiplies the user's strength, speed, and senses, and other physical attributes used during a fight, giving them a temporary boost in power. But when Goku first learned the technique, he was warned not to push it beyond a certain multiplier, or else it would destroy his own body. So he had to build it up slowly, increasing the intensity one step at a time. What many of us try to do is stack a bunch of tasks on our plate all at one time, overwhelming ourselves and making it difficult to handle. Eventually, we avoid everything altogether and start to believe that we're just lazy. So now I'm going to show you what we can learn from Goku's use of the Kaioken technique and how to apply it in a way that helps you tackle your goals without getting overwhelmed or falling into the trap of being lazy. You need to start breaking down your goals into small, manageable actions. Doing this reduces the mental load and allows your brain to focus on one task at a time. One of the best ways to do this is by using the 2-minute rule. Break down tasks into something that only takes 2 minutes to complete. For example, let's say your goal is to start a YouTube video, Instead of worrying about the views, the lighting, or buying the right equipment, you want to start with the very first step. Open up your notes app and just choose a topic. Once you've done that, you can move on to the next step. The key thing here is to not stack on too many tasks at one time until you've built the experience to handle them. By doing this, you lower the chances of you getting overwhelmed and make it far less likely that your self-doubt will spiral into fear and avoidance. But now that you understand that you're not lazy, there's still one deeper issue underneath all the overwhelm and doubt that you need to address that is keeping you stuck in life. Click the video you see on your screen now to see how letting go of this deeper issue can completely change your life.